Okay guys, welcome back. This is a one-of-a-kind video on vibration control part. I've lost track. And also t-shirts, my t-shirt line. Look at that, no silk screening. Anyway, just kidding, we're not talking about that. We're going to stick to vibration control, but we're going to make a little bit of a variation from the previous videos where I've done strictly an electronic piece, solid state on a shelf and various tests of that. Let's test today an actual piece of equipment that creates vibrations, like a subwoofer in the corner there. So what I'm going to do is take some vibration with the weight drop like we've done before, and then we're going to also run a test tone through the sub, and let's see how much of the vibrations go to the floor and vice versa. And then we're going to test it with my homemade stand that I'm simulating close to what I'm happy with on my main speakers. And this is what I'm doing for that. Let me switch the camera. So if you watch the previous videos, you know that my squash ball, double yellow squash balls work the best by far, the most dramatic difference, even on severe testing of vibrations. It was able to mitigate them. So what I'm doing is I emptied the Bright Star rack that we were using before of the sand, although some is still stuck in there in the corners here. Anyway, and then I'm going to take the top and put it on top of here and create a platform that will be suspended. Yeah, they won't touch the top. That will be suspended and do things much like the Townsend seismic bars do for my speakers. And then we will test and see how well it does on the drop test and with the test tone going through the subwoofer. So let me put the video on pause, and I have not done this yet. It's a pain in the butt to move that subwoofer and pick it up. So I'm hopefully going to do this once and we'll see positive results. But let me put on pause, move things in place, and continue. Okay, I've got the seismograph app on the subwoofer, and I'm going to drop the 4-pound weight like we have been doing in previous videos, and let's just register. Again, this is a subwoofer just on flat carpet. I'm going to try to catch the first bounce. So you get you're seeing significant activity on the X, Y, and Z axis of vibrations. Let me turn on an actual test tone that'll go through this, and let's measure both what's the vibrations are on top of the sub with it running the test tone, and then also on the floor. Okay, I have a test tone running through the sub right now. It's not a very high, it measures at about 70 dB for my listening position. So I'm not stressing the subwoofer or doing anything too crazy. I just want to get a baseline for normal music, what kind of vibrations we can expect, and how much we can mitigate even these small amounts. So if you look with the test tone going through it, there are slight vibrations, not that significant. So the sub on its own, on carpet with nothing helping it, seems to be not significantly vibrating at a modest volume of about 70 dB. And let's look at what's happening on the floor right next to it. Obviously the floor has a fair amount of vibrations next to it, as you would expect. But let's see when I use my homemade stand underneath the sub how much we can improve these numbers. Okay guys, we're back. I'm worn out, so picking up this sub a few times has given me my workout for the day. Anyway, I wasn't able to use the top on top of the balls because, let's see if the focus is right. it just was wobbling around too much with something so heavy, trying to set it on there. If I had a couple people here to help me set it down exactly centered without it moving, it might have worked. So I just put the sub on the platform with the balls and those pucks that are holding the balls. In terms of improving the actual vibrations from the sub itself, obviously the sub creating its vibrations seems to maybe a little bit, nothing dramatic, obviously nothing to get too excited about, although the Y definitely seems to be totally silent, so that's interesting. Let's look and see though what it does. So at the same position it was before with the sub playing, again, you're seeing some improvement, especially on the Y-axis versus when we didn't have it on the platform. Let's even do the drop test while the sub is still playing this test tone and see if we get those large spikes that we saw before when we dropped the 4-pound weight next to it. So I'm going to start dropping the weight. And I'm even letting it bounce to see if anything will register significant to what we saw before. Okay, so basically you're not even, I mean, I've got the actual sub test tone playing, so I guess somebody will argue maybe that's offsetting the vibrations, but you know, this is consistent with what we saw in the other test. It's a dramatic difference in terms of isolating it from major vibrations. So I think the problem with this sub is it's so heavy, I'm going to need more balls to give it the same level of, but you can tell it's suspended, it's moving, it's not fixed. And I'm not noticing any difference in the tone of the test tone of significance. You know, I have to play some music to see if the minor change in floorborne vibrations makes any big deal. At this point, obviously the balls work in terms of major vibrations. Smaller vibrations, we have seen improvement on the Y-axis. Is it a deal breaker? Is it a major deal? At this point, I wouldn't say so, but we're going to do some further testing again with electronics and then listening test and whatnot. All right, so if you enjoyed this and want to support my cardiovascular recovery efforts after doing all this for you guys, subscribe, comment, and get notifications, and we'll see you soon.